Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. Just how vulnerable are small businesses in New Hampshire and New England because of inflation, supply chain, and an expected recession? Well, there are two surveys and a poll that are out that give us a clue. Survey: nearly half of small business owners aren't confident they could fund an unplanned $5,000 expense. Another survey found that most small business owners have applied for a loan or other form of credit in the last 12 months. And finally, the poll: fully 93% of small business owners are worried about the U.S. economy experiencing a recession in the next 12 months. With me to tell us what they're seeing and how they can help are actually two individuals in our own backyard: the New England Regional Administrator of the U.S. Business Administration, Michael Blasich, who is also a former Economic Development Director here in New Hampshire, and the District Director of the U.S. Small Business Administration in New Hampshire, Amy Bassett, who has been with SBA since 1990 in New Hampshire and Maine. Welcome, Amy, and welcome,
Thanks,
Michael.
Hi, Fred.
My question to you both: what are you seeing right now for small businesses coming to SBA for financial help, given the inflation and given the fact that they're recovering from pandemic? Amy?
So small business owners face unique and big challenges on a daily basis. They wear many hats and have to be really astute at adapting and foreseeing how the current and upcoming changes are going to impact their businesses. And during my time at the SBA, I've been really impressed with the resiliency and the commitment that small business owners have to their businesses as well as their employees.
Michael, what are you seeing right now? I mean, given the current conditions.
The reality is that, every job that was lost due to the pandemic has come back and then some. We have seen record growth in new business applications nationally. And, as a matter of fact, there were 5.4 million applications in 2021, and that's a 30% increase from previous years. And the reality is that we know that there was a $5 billion investment made in New Hampshire alone in pandemic era programs like PPP and EIDL. We've been able to forgive a large percentage of the PPP loans, and we're deferring a lot of payments on EIDL to help give those businesses a little bit of relief as the factors that you've described, the global inflation, some of the challenges that we are starting to see. A little bit of improvement, if not steady improvement, but it's a work in progress. I'm very excited about the recently signed Inflation Reduction Act by President Biden. I'm honored, obviously, to serve in the administration. I'm the first person from New Hampshire to be in this role. But the reality is, you hit it on the head. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. You will appreciate this more than anybody. We've seen growth in exports. SBA provides support through its STEP program. We saw a 20% increase in finding new markets abroad for our businesses. And we've set records for government contracting for small businesses in the past year, exceeding the president's goals.
Just for our viewers' sake, here is a graphic with some of the programs that you run, and these are the most popular ones I know. 7A loan program, short and long-term working capital; the 8A loan program, economically disadvantaged firms and individuals; the 504 loan program, long-term financial aid; and microloan program, up to $500,000 for startups and expansion. What is the most popular loan program right now, Michael?
Well, certainly Amy has her ear to the ground. The most is 7A, one of the more popular, Amy?
Yeah, I would certainly say all of the SBA loan programs are going to be more heavily utilized in times of uncertainty. 7A is most widely used because of the wide diversity of purposes it can be used for, but for businesses looking to expand, and we know many businesses, they're looking to borrow, but many do have capital on hand. And this is an ongoing effect of some of the pandemic relief programs where SBA deployed $5 billion in New Hampshire throughout these programs. So many businesses have access to capital right now to make these investments, and they've now created greater resiliency. And the other thing I want to make sure we talk about is our SBA partners who provide the technical assistance. These are the no-cost services that can be provided by the New Hampshire Small Business Development Center, SCORE, and the Center for Women in Enterprise to help people who are looking to make some decisions and make some impacts with their businesses.
My thanks to Michael Blasich, New England Regional Administrator of SBA, and to Amy Bassett, the District Director in New Hampshire for SBA. Thanks a lot. And if you missed part of this briefing on small business, you can go to WMUR.com where it'll be posted later today and all this week.